So we're going to talk about just the basic setup on the Max machine, operator style training. For starters, we're going to talk about what the machine does. This machine is going to present a pre-made bag. We're going to print the label on the bag. We're going to bring it out. We're going to open it, hold it open for loading. After we load it, we can seal it up and send it on its way. So we're just going to go ahead and cycle. Printing the label. Advance the bag and open the bag. We're going to load the product. We'll cycle it out. Here we go. Bag loaded, labeled, ready to run. We'll talk about the HMI. It's the human machine interface. This is how we communicate with the PLC, with the bagger itself, so we can understand it, it can understand us. So we'll talk about the different screens. This left-hand panel, these buttons are always present no matter what screen you're on. The first one we want to talk about is the dashboard screen. It's the one that looks like a speedometer. This is your operating screen. This is where you want to be. The next screen we want to know about is the blue arrow. In the blue arrow, when the HMI is locked, an operator can still come in here and select a preloaded job that's been put into the machine. They can change it when they need to change bag sizes, and they still don't need to unlock it. They can't change any settings. All they can do is select a preloaded job. So to select the job, we highlight it, we hit load job, boom, job loaded successfully, machine's ready to run. The next one is your CPU screen. This just gives the service people an overview of the options that are enabled and what some of the settings are. This one down here, the little life preserver, this one will tell you on whatever screen you're in, everything that's going on that screen, what it means, what it does. It'll give you high-low limits. So this is your onboard help screen. We'll go back to settings. And last but not least is the home screen. When we get into the home screen, we can access several different menus. We need to unlock it to access this. All right, so we unlocked it using the 8815 passcode that you all know to unlock our machines. In here, we've got some different options. We've got bagger settings. And the bagger settings, these are things that we're going to see that are going to enable to be viewed when we're on the dashboard screen. So if you want to add some different features, we can add separate before. Well, you won't see that one. That's a silent setting. But we can put a batch counter on the screen. We can put a parts counter. We've got a cycle counter. So if we go back, you see all of those things showed up on our screen. Back to home screen. I/O screens, this is for the technician. So I/O screens, this is where we can go check to make sure that our inputs and outputs are being made, that they're enabled, and that the bagger's running like it should. This is good for troubleshooting. I'm not going to go into that in depth, but it's got several pages so you can monitor every input and output in the machine. The job setup. In this menu, in job setup, we can select a job. We can hit the red pen, and now we can go in and edit the settings in the job. Anytime you make a change in here, we need to load that job to make sure the settings loaded successfully and those settings are taken and put into the PLC. If we wanted to create a new job, but the settings, let's say we had a different bag size, but it's the same thickness, so we could use most of the same settings except for the bag length, really. We can copy a job, like the one we're running right now. We can copy that and edit it, change it to say what we want it to say, change our settings, and we've just created a new job without going through all of this. So I'm going to get rid of that one, and that covers it. If I wanted to delete a job, I would highlight the job I wanted to and hit the red X. That'll wipe it out. If I want to create a new job completely from scratch, we'll use the green plus sign. And that'll create a new job. And now I can edit it and complete it any way I want it to be. The next would be documentation. This one does not have documentation loaded. This is a demo machine. But in here you would find a PDF copy of the operator's manual, the service manual, Stack 6 stepper drive manual is usually in here, and you should find the schematics also here under documentation. And they're all accessible as a PDF open file on this HMI. Exit to Windows. Look, we don't need you going there. I'm going to be honest. If you need to go exit to Windows, you're going to be on the phone with either tech support or with engineering, and they'll guide you where to go through that menu. So there's really no reason to go in there. Admin, same thing. There's nothing in here you really need to go deal with. Anything in here that can be changed has an admin passcode, and again, you're not going to have that passcode unless you're online with engineering or tech support. I know it says reset factory defaults and save factories. Don't ever do that. Okay, the machine's been custom programmed for the customer. Don't go back to factory. Machine options. In the machine options, anything that's highlighted blue is an option that's on this machine that is enabled. In other words, it's going to run when we cycle the bagger. If I wanted to run bags, for example, but I didn't want to print labels, we'll go into the printer menu and we'll disable it. So that very top bar, we're going to touch that top bar so it turns white. Now that it is enabled or disabled. So the bagger will cycle without the printer. To re-enable it, we just re-enable it. So that's the same for all of the options. In the service screen, we can select all the different functions that are able to be moved manually for testing purposes. So if I wanted to move the print head up and down, I can lower the print head, I can raise the print head from here just to test it. So this is really a service menu, that's why it's labeled service. Video, we don't have any videos, there's no MTV, there's none of that on here, no videos. Shut down the HMI, this is the most important button on the whole machine. Before you power this bagger off, press and hold for 3 seconds till the light goes out and the screen powers down. Do not power the machine down without shutting down the HMI. You can corrupt the files. This is a bad thing. Don't do it. Okay, back to the menu. That pretty well covers all of your screens in the home screen and all of your possible options on the selections bar on the left. And that's pretty much HMI navigation in a nutshell. We're going to talk about loading the bags in a box-powered unwind. First thing we want to do is get the bags straightened out. We're going to pull them out. We're going to kind of lay them over forward. We want to make sure that the opening in the bag is facing up. This is critical. If you do it the other way, you're going to have to do it again because you won't be able to load it on the other side. So we know it's facing up, so they need to go in this way. Load the bags in. Now, to load this bagger, everything goes from the bottom up. Bottom up, always. We're going to go around the front guide. There's a fixed bar up here. It's not a roller, it's just a guide bar. You go around that, straight back to the back guide bar, around that, between the drive roller and the pinch roller, back around the drive roller, and then we'll raise the damper bar up so it locks. Bring the bags through, down under the last one, and up. Now we can lower the dancer bar carefully. After that, we're going to slide the I-frame back, go over the tail roller, over the flat roller, and underneath the compensator roller. And we're going to tap the jog button just one time. The rollers will pull for 10 seconds, and we're going to tuck the bag underneath. Let them stop on their own. That's it, we're loaded. We can put the I-frame back where it belongs, lock it in place, close the printer. Don't forget close our pinch roller and put the drag weights back. They help keep the bags from jumping over the guides. Having done that, we put the dancer bar in the upper position. It's going to tell us the dancer bar had an upper limit fault. Well, that's because we had it locked up. We can clear that fault and we're ready to run. All right, we're going to talk about loading the ribbon on the bagger, or on the printer. It's pretty easy. We'll lift the printer up so we can access it. So we're going to have a brand new supply ribbon, and we're going to have a take-up ribbon. The main thing to know is that they go on counterclockwise. So when they wind up, they want to spin counterclockwise, and when we take the ribbon off, it's counterclockwise, top over. It's just as easy as this. Bring it up, give it a couple turns, pull a knot in it, a couple more turns. Wind up your loose ribbon. Make sure there's no wrinkles in it. Put our printer back in place, and it should be ready to run. Give it a label. Like nothing ever happened.